Good evening, everybody. I'm Christian Hinkel. Thank you for watching. Vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris made three stops in Southeast Michigan Sunday, starting in Detroit. She started at a drive-in church service, then spoke to volunteers at 2 different canvass events. She will also be featured at a drive-in rally, encouraging voters to cast their ballots as early as possible. Meantime, President Trump is in Maine, where his administration opened the National Marine Monument for fishing. Polls suggest Joe Biden enjoys a double-digit lead over Trump in Maine, but it's only one of 2 states that can split its electoral college votes based on outcomes in each congressional district. Trump became the first presidential candidate in Maine to force that split, winning the 2nd district in 2016. Another tropical storm is taking aim at the U.S. Gulf Coast. A tropical depression east of Mexico strengthened into Tropical Storm Zeta Sunday. It's expected to become a hurricane by early Tuesday. Zeta is currently forecasted to make landfall Wednesday between central Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle. Zeta is the 27th named storm of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. If Zeta makes landfall in Louisiana, it would be the 5th named storm to do so this season. That would be a new record for that state and the most landfalls in a season.
Target is changing up its Black Friday sales this year.
The retailer announced its new Black Friday Now deals. It's a series of week-long sales that run the entire month of November. The first week will feature deals on electronics. The second week focuses on kitchen favorites and floor care. The third week features more electronics, apparel, and beauty products. And the last week of the month is all about toys and more, including select consoles. Other retailers like Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's are also starting their holiday sales early this year. Diego Guajardo set a school record with a 54-yard field goal on the Jags' opening possession. The road gets even tougher, though, this week as South plays at 15th-ranked Coastal Carolina. It's a 7 p.m. kick on ESPNU Saturday night. Both teams were picked last in the preseason polls. The Jags are 3-3, while Coastal Carolina sits at a perfect 6-0 record.
Welcome in, everybody, to the 97.1 The Prowl halftime show presented to you by Poindexter's Bar and Grill. Poindexter's Bar and Grill is located at 5955 Old Shell Road, right across the street from the Mitchell Center. We're going to be recapping that first half for you right here. Your South Alabama Jaguars lead the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks 17-6. South Alabama jumped out to a quick 17-0 lead over Louisiana Monroe before Louisiana Monroe did respond with a touchdown of their own with just a few minutes to go there in that first half, climbing in 17-6. Taking a look at some of these stats for you real quick. First downs, Louisiana Monroe actually had an edge against South Alabama there with 10 first downs to 9 for South Alabama. Both teams have 66 yards on the ground, not what either team was really looking for in terms of rushing yardage, but it is what it is in that regard. South Alabama 20 carries for 66 yards, Louisiana Monroe 18 carries for 66 yards, and this is where South Alabama really distanced themselves in that first half, was with the passing yardage. South Alabama 169 yards through the air, and that came on only 5 completions. You had 2 completions from Desmond Trotter that went for 107, and 3 completions from Chance Levertich that went for 62 yards. Louisiana Monroe, Colby Sweets, 10 of 17 for 97 yards, and the interception, the costliest turnover of that first half, an interception return touchdown of 95 yards for Devin Rocket. Moving on now through the stats, total offense, plays, and yards. South Alabama 30 plays for 235 yards. Louisiana Monroe 35 plays for 163 yards. Kickoffs, nothing much to look at there. South Alabama, the 1 return that went for just 9 yards. And here's a stat that'll surely get you going. Return yards off interceptions. South Alabama bests Louisiana Monroe by 90 yards in that regard. 95 yards on the interception return for South Alabama. Louisiana Monroe had an interception. Chance Levertich, you know he wanted that ball back. It was after a big-time pass that he had to Jalen Tolbert, and then a solid run by Carlos Davis. Chance Levertich would throw an interception on the very next play and would be picked off. That interception was returned for 5 yards. Both teams have seen their punters come out just a little bit. South Alabama with 2 punts. Louisiana Monroe has punted 3 times. Time of possession is also a big difference. We know that South Alabama defense has to be tired after that first half. Louisiana Monroe controlling the ball for 17 minutes and 9 seconds as opposed to South Alabama's 12 minutes and 51 seconds. Third down conversions, both teams were 3 of 7. Fourth down conversions, South Alabama 1 of 1. Louisiana Monroe 0 for 1. And red zone scores opportunities here. Louisiana Monroe cashing in on one of their 2 red zone trips. South Alabama 0 for 1 in the red zone. Individual stats for you. We've already ran through the South Alabama quarterbacks and talked about them, but how about South Alabama running the ball? We know as a team they carried it 20 times for 66 yards, but the leading rusher is going to be Carlos Davis, 9 carries for 30 yards. Hopefully we see him start to get a little bit more carries in that second half. You know South Alabama wants to establish that running game. He's averaging just over 3 yards a carry at 3.1. Chance Levertich had the big run right as the half ended. He'll in with 2 carries for 24 yards in that first half. Colin Lacey carried the ball twice for 14 yards. And Terrion Avery getting his hands on the ball as well. 3 carries for 12 yards. The receivers for South Alabama, we only saw 2 receivers catch a pass for the team in the first half. Kawan Baker had 3 receptions for 101 yards, and we all know that 1 touchdown coming off of the 80-yard completion he had from Desmond Trotter. And then Jalen Tolbert, 2 receptions for 68 yards. Taking a look at the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks, we know Colby Sweets, as we mentioned, 10 of 17 for 97 yards, and the interception. He has a long of 35 yards that he hit on a big-time pass to their big-time playmaker, Jaquan Bloomfield. Looked for us to be calling his name a lot more in that second half. Jaquan Bloomfield, 2 receptions for 47 yards. Tyler Lamb, 2 receptions for 7 yards. Jevin Frett, 1 for 13. And Perry Carter, 1 for 9. That's going to do it for your first half recap. The South Alabama Jaguars lead the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks 17-6. We are just over 13 minutes until we kick off this second half. You are listening to the 97.1 The Prowl halftime show here on 97.1 The Prowl, brought to you by Poindexter's Bar and Grill. And just when we were wondering if Desmond Trotter had what it takes to play in this game, he had struggled those first 2 drives. He drops an absolute dime to Kawan Baker. Kawan Baker, the touchdown maker, showing off the speed there, going down the sideline. South Alabama set to take a 3-possession lead in this first quarter. And opportunistic is Devin Rocket off the tip. Just goes right through the hands of the wide receiver for UL Monroe. And Devin Rocket is just standing there waiting for it. And how about the vision? Turns on those offensive skill player moves on the return there and just weaves his way up the sideline for a long pick 6. He brings it all the way back, and the crowd is in it. This place is just going crazy.
Guajardo now.